Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're all doing great, as I always say. And this video is going to be in the same vein as what I posted earlier this week in the video about the Fae. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out because I enjoyed it, and judging by the comments, a lot of other people enjoyed it too, so good vibes all around. Anyways, this was posted anonymously on November 11th, 2013. So it's probably made its rounds, but I just found it, so let's jump into it. Pull up a stump, and thank you for watching. I'm Canadian and from Ontario, and this story happened when I was 7 years old. I was at a friend's house and we were staying up super late. Well, late for us anyways. And we're watching horror movies like Grown Ups, all that kind of stuff. So we start, as kids do, telling ghost stories. We run out of ones that we've heard of or that people told us, so we start just making some up. I tell him one about the man who stalks the woods around where we live. Two of us live only kilometers apart or so. He doesn't age and can pass through shadows, and he's been around since the ancient times. He feeds on lone hikers now. He used to slaughter small tribes. And as 7-year-olds do, we decided that even though we made it up, that we should still go looking for monsters in the woods. We bring his German Shepherd with us, being 7 and not entirely stupid. We get about 2 kilometers from his actual backyard, and we're starting to get really into the woods. The dog starts whining and turns back, which is kind of weird seeing as this dog is totally fearless. But we keep going just for a little bit, and our flashlights start actually flickering, and there's these loud, crashing sounds. We're both standing there in terror, unable to move. And then suddenly, the dog flies out of a nearby brush, and we're like, oh, thank God, it's just the dog. But the dog is doing something different. It just stands in front of us, and it gets in our way every time we try and go further. The dog starts whining at us and growling at something up ahead that we can't see. We try and keep walking. We don't want to turn back yet. And I say, dude, your dog is weird. I finally realize that the dog can't block us both. When my friend, let's call him Jason, goes to get by his dog, whose name is Bear, I dart forward as well. Then the dog can't stop us both. It grabs Jason by the sleeve and pulls him forcibly into the brush. I turn back and make sure he's okay. I yell out, dude, are you okay? And he says, I'm good, but the dog won't let me get up. We spend some time trying to calm down Bear. Eventually, the dog finally lets up, and we're able to keep walking for a while. And we start to hear these weird sounds, but it's typical of the forest at night, but still, it just gave off a weird vibe. And then the dog starts to get all weird again. Literal repeat of before. He will try and stop us individually, but when we both go to get by at the same time, he chooses his owner, Jason, over me. We turn back again, same stuff, calm the dog down, keep walking some more. And as we're going, we keep adding to the story of the man and all that stuff. Stuff like, oh, he scares all wildlife, he tracks his prey, sometimes for days, and just things that young people would make up for a monster. The track that we're on, though, it does loop around, but it goes a long way into the woods, and it goes through some places that we've never been before, even during the daytime. We start telling stories that we've actually heard about the lone cabin in the woods that's out there. No one's ever seen anyone go in or out, but there's usually always lights on in there. And to discern, this is not related to the story that we made up. We actually had heard this story, and we knew from people that it was true. And as we're walking in this area of the woods, the dog starts acting more and more strange and erratic. This dog is usually loud, curious, inquisitive, and playful. And we used to do stuff like this all the time, like go exploring in the woods, but we've never been out this far, and the dog is really acting up, just acting completely out of character. This time, when it acts up, it's much worse than before. The dog sounds like it's crying. It's nosing us, almost like it's pleading for us to go the opposite way. We try and get past, and it literally bowls us both over each time one of us tries to get by. But we try the same strategy as before. I wait till Jason's ready and then I run. But the dog catches on this time and is already running at Jason. It grabs him and yanks him down. Goes for me. I manage to trip on a root just at the right moment, and I manage to flail my way by. The dog runs back to Jason and actually starts dragging him back down the path. And I think, oh well, he'll calm the dog down and catch up on his own. So I walk for a bit on the trail by myself, and it's been maybe more than 5 minutes, but definitely less than 10. I go around a few bends and I can't see Jason or his light. And then I come to a fork in the trails. I decide to wait for Jason because I don't want to get split up any more than we already are. I sit down under this large tree, and I have the great idea. I'll turn out my light and I'll wait for him, and then I'll jump out and scare the hell out of him. So I go behind this big tree and I turn my light out. I hear a rushing, like a rustling noise. I guess there's another dog out here or something. I get the idea to climb the tree in case there's coyotes, and I hear yipping nearly as soon as I have my hands on the bark. I yank myself up as fast as possible and climb to the center of the tree, which is hidden by foliage. The rustling sound gets louder. An adult is running down the path from the other direction as fast as he can, and he has long hair flying behind him. And I think, oh wow, he's really running, like sprinting. He better be careful, there's a lot of roots around. And then he trips, and I hear a crack. And I think, oh wow, it looks like he broke his leg. Or he probably just sprained his ankle or something. He starts crawling and then gets up. He's still moving as fast as possible. I hear sobbing coming from the man. I move to get down the tree to try and help. He hears me in the tree. He whips his head around and whispers, just so I can hear a part of what he said. Up there, kid. There's... out there. And when I hear this, it sends a shiver down my spine. But I think he's probably talking about the coyotes, maybe. There's a lot of them out tonight. I go to ask if he needs help. He immediately shushes me and tells me to shut up and get further into the tree. I do so because an adult said so, and it's the middle of the night. He lets out a long sigh. Guess you found me then. And again, I think, what? Are the coyotes here? There's this other guy on the path. He must have just gotten there. He's walking very slowly. I can't really see him. It's too dark. They were both coming from down the same fork. The second guy says something, but I don't understand it at all. It's not like any language I'd heard up until that point, or since then. The first guy starts trying to hobble away. The second guy laughs and walks at the same pace after him. Suddenly, the first guy starts running faster than before. The second guy says something. It sounds really weird and crouches down. He starts sort of half jogging, half running after the first guy, sort of like a woodsman's lope if you know what that is, but faster. They turn the bends and I can hear the first guy snapping branches and crunching leaves and dirt. And I think, wait, the first guy? What about the second? Who was the one that was talking weird? I look down, and he's right beneath me, looking up at me. He says something in that weird language again. Oh God, the guy we made up was real. Oh God, I'm gonna die out here. Oh my God. He just stares at me, and he starts to smile. And it's the creepiest smile I've ever seen in my life. The guy smiles like a shark, all teeth, all hunger. And I just accept the fact that I'm going to die right now. I make my peace and hope that Jason's okay. I'm crying, there's snot running down my face, but I've accepted that I'm going to die. And then the guy just sits down at the fork in the road. He says something that actually sounded like English, but I was too busy sobbing to understand. I say, What, mister? I'm trying to contain my tears of impending death just to hear the man, the last words that I might hear. But I missed the first part anyways. The guy's voice sounds like a rusty razor, all rough and raw, but still as sharp somehow. It was hard to understand. Down here, youngling, or thing, I can't really be sure what he said. We're not hunting for babes tonight. And he lets out this weird-sounding, inhuman chuckle and pats the ground beside him. I stay up in the tree. I've seen enough movies, read enough fairy tales, and I know he's going to kill me anyways. He gets mad. Get down here, or you'll be caught and eaten. At that point, I'm like, well, okay, I guess if he's going to kill me either way, I may as not well make him mad in the process. So I climb down, and he's still at the fork across from my tree. He pats the dirt beside him, and he obviously wants me to sit there. Come, young one, I swear on my own name that I will not harm you. And I've actually read enough fairy tales for this. This evil monster, I know how to deal with him. What's your name? I managed to stutter out. He says something incomprehensible. I repeat it back the best I can. Yes, young thing. I say, you swear? He says, by my own name, I do. I say it all. He says, by my name, and then his name. This is my note. I'm not saying it because I can't say it, but I'll type out what it is here. I swear no harm shall come to thee, child. That's 3 times you swore. The guy smiles again, that creepy smile. Clever enough, it seems. I ask him who he is. I never promised you answers, only that I wouldn't hurt you. His speech seems to be getting better and better after each sentence. Maybe this monster is one of the more misunderstood ones. As I think this, he adjusts the coat he was wearing. I notice the coat is made of some sort of weird fur and is old, very old and a bit dirty. The shirt underneath is like nothing I've ever seen. It almost looked like one of those doormats or something, but it was all fabric, not rubber. He has all kinds of things hanging from a belt around his chest. It's hard to see, but my mind immediately populated it with bones, feathers, and a very weird-looking knife. He notices me staring and asks, "What is it, young one?" I think he's been pretty polite, and I did get him to swear 3 times, so I'm getting a bit braver. Your knife, well, I couldn't see it so well. I trail off, not sure where I was going. Ah, yes, the knife. Would you like to see it? Hold it even. Oh, okay, if nothing weird's gonna happen. He squints his eyes shut, and I can tell he's a little annoyed. I swore no harm, child. I say, oh, well, sorry. He says, no matter. It's good to be suspicious. He pulls the knife from his belt. This thing is made from stone. The whole thing is like one big block of stone. He smiles as he hands it over to me. The thing weighs a ton. Would you like that, child? The knife? And this is when everything in my head is telling me you do not accept gifts from spirits or fae or monsters or anything that you don't understand, ever. So I say, no, sir, I wouldn't want to take something I wouldn't be able to treat properly. He smiles that weird, hungry, shark-tooth smile again. Again, proof you are a clever one. Take not gifts from those that you may not understand. Which I also remember refusing a gift in some stories is a great insult. So I say, well, I couldn't take it without offering you something in return as well. We'd be at an uneven trade. And he says, but you have nothing I want that you can afford to give anyway, do you? Probably not, but no one is going to believe me if I don't come out with something. And I say, well, maybe we could trade for something smaller then. I have this, and I point to my flashlight. He responds, I don't need your false light, but a story is always a great thing. I will trade you a trinket for a tale, but be quick, for I must leave soon. And I think, okay, that sounds good to me. My story is about these same woods. And I tell him most of the parts of the made up story that Jason and I invented while watching horror movies. He chuckles at the end and asks me how I know all this. I say, well, we made it up. He says, oh, well, you tell a strong story, boy. You have earned your trinket. He pulls a bead from his shirt and presses it to my hand. His hands are cold, like the ground, or the rock he was leaning on. But the bead is colder, kind of large, and I can't really see what color it is in the dark. I must go now, but you have won this, and my respect for a storyteller. You will not be harmed in these woods. He leans in close. Oh, what's that smell? Smells like cooking and laundry, and those jars of stuff in the pantry. It's nice. Suddenly, it's bright, really, really bright, middle of the day bright. I must have fallen asleep waiting for Jason and dreamt it all, I think anyways, especially when I can't find the bead. But I walk back to Jason's. He sees me from the kitchen and runs outside and hugs me, crying frantically. I thought you were dead. I thought that the man got you. I saw you and him in the forest, but Bear wouldn't let me get by. He dragged me all the way home. So, what do you make of that story? I think it's definitely Fae related. You let me know if you think it's real or if you think it's just a fairy tale. I always wanted to make that pun. But anyways, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Either way, I thought it was a pretty cool story. And if it was true, I feel like the reason why you couldn't find the bead was probably because it wasn't a bead. He probably told a story and whatever Fae it was just gave him a rock. It just made it look like a bead or something like that. I don't know, but let me know what you think. And if you like the channel and like what I do, then be sure to watch some of my other videos. They're of varying length and stuff, but I hope you like them. And if you really like the channel, then maybe you can donate to the PayPal or become a patron. It's all up to you, but just watching it is good enough too. So, I hope you enjoyed the story, regardless of if you think it's true or if it's false, or if it's exaggerated. Yeah, and that's about it. Thank you for pulling up a stump, and I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.